Piedmont Triad area weather. As we're heading through the afternoon time and into tonight, we have a front crossing through and a few showers and thunderstorms rumbling in with it. Ahead of the front, we're very warm. Our high today, mid-80s with an increasing southwesterly wind, clearing by very late tonight. Behind that boundary, our overnight low 40s. Sunny, breezy, and much cooler weather tomorrow, the high upper 50s. We're in the low 60s on Sunday with a good deal of sun. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore for News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS.
Hey, Josh Graham here. This is News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS. Catch me tonight at 11 p.m. for Westwood One Sports Night. You'll get my take on all sports. And Saturday and Sunday afternoons from 4 to 7 p.m. for the Josh Graham Show. Don't miss the up-to-the-minute scores and hot takes on everything sports. Because this is News Talk Sports for the Triad and the home of Josh Graham, WSJS.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2026. A night full of hits. Live at Spectrum Center, Charlotte, Saturday, August 8th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Delsing, a two-time All-American and PGA Tour veteran of 25 years. I know the game of golf inside and out. Each week, we'll feature celebrity golfers, share their laughs, inside stories, and offer great tips to improve your golf game.
I wanna swing, don't you wanna swing with me?
Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Winston-Salem, proudly serving our community for over 50 years. That's Golf with Jay Delsing, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on WSJS.
Good morning, Triad, and welcome to the Daily Pulse with Steamin' Back.
Now you see me, now you don't want to talk, but I bet you won't.
Your front row seat to the voices, issues, and energy driving the Triad.
Let me calm down. Let me take it easy on, take it easy on.
Get ready to dive into the stories that matter most, the headlines shaping your day, the conversations everyone's having, and the local perspective you won't hear anywhere else.
Hold up, wait, breathe.
The Daily Pulse starts now on WSJS.
It's time to quit a job, maybe break up with a significant other, or share some really bad news. Do any of those seem like a simple email message you just fire off? An email that resolved a $4 million outcome, potentially, is what happened yesterday. And we're going to tell you about it here on a Friday of the Daily Pulse. Welcome in, and thanks for being with us on WSJS. You can stream us at WSJS.com. Or if you want to see my beautiful face this Friday, you can do that on X at Stephen Beck TO, or also at WSJS Radio. You won't see Christian, though. He's behind the glass. How are you today, bud?
Man, I am fantastic. Happy Friday.
You ready for any particular weekend plans?
I'm ready to go to sleep.
Okay.
I'm ready to go to sleep.
Feeling
it's been
a
long week.
Drugged down. I've taken it out on you, huh? First week of the Daily Pulse, and you're already ready to just like take a nap at the end. I hear you. Well, if you don't want to miss anything, this is the place to be. We're going to get you started with our Pulse check in a second. We also have a Pulse pick question of the day today that I find interesting because when I was younger, I'll tell you, I went to the mall quite frequently. And you can do that, when they're actually around and available a lot easier than you could today. Malls have shut down in large numbers. I think here in Winston and Greensboro, the malls are still around. At High Point, I can tell you, Ocala Mall closed. So the question today that I have is, do you ever, or if you do you enjoy going shopping at a mall? You can chime in your thoughts at 336-777-1600. We also today, for our Pulse Pick question, have a poll up at WSJS Radio on X, and would love to get your thoughts on that. Before we go any further, we also don't want you to miss out on winning stuff at WSJS.com, because you can also get gift cards and tickets to all sorts of events. So make sure you check that out as well. To get started, though, Christian, let's get everybody updated on the latest news out there.
check. It's what's happening right now.
Lots of news out of Raleigh because of a coaching change there. We're going to get back to that in a second. But other stories for you. A serious stabbing in North Charlotte early this morning has left one person hospitalized with significant injuries. Police responded around dawn this morning and are still investigating that. North Carolina officials are pressuring the new DHS secretary to prioritize recovery funding tied back to Hurricane Helene. Multiple letters have already been sent, signaling urgency around rebuilding and the potential federal support that our state receives. And a 27-year-old suspect is in custody after 3 people were found dead inside a camper earlier this week in Robeson County. In our nation's headlines this morning, well, you might expect travel disruptions if our government can't get everything squared away today. It's a huge deadline because TSA workers have already missed some paychecks. They're supposed to get paid again today. And if they miss out on that, I would imagine some major staffing shortages. President Trump, though, says he may take executive action to pay TSA agents. And I'll mention here on the Daily Pulse, we have a story coming up for you in just a little bit. If you fly frequently, did you actually know that you're paying something, a part of your travel expenses, direct to TSA agents? So that's coming up for you in just a few minutes. And the United States still weighing whether or not to send boots on the ground into the Middle East, potentially sending up to 10,000 more troops. Christian, if that was to happen, though, I'm likely certain that that wouldn't be just a simple email fired off and sent to, our military and their generals and all the decision makers to just say like, hey, let's get some boots on the ground in Middle East.
I think that would probably require a phone call, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is hard, I guess, face to face. Nowadays, technology allows us to do a lot of really cool things with that. It could just be like a video chat, conference call type deal. But there's certain things that I feel like by email, you can't really just get away with a simple like, here's the message, boop, send, you've got mail on the other end and take care of everything. And just as we shared yesterday here, there was a coaching move happened in our capital city of the state. Will Wade, he leaves NC State, headed to Baton Rouge yesterday. I shared the source that said it was all but a done deal. And man, that source knocked it out of the park. And so now what we find out is exactly all the different details of what exactly happened to have this change take place. And what we are realizing today is that honestly, Will Wade has fumbled this whole thing to a place where I wouldn't be able to defend it. I shared yesterday, and some of these coaching changes in sports, they're asked impossible questions, and it's a really difficult place to find yourself. You want to try to be honorable in the current position that you're at. You want to not burn down that bridge and probably keep your job of where you sit. But at the same time, you got to at least consider other options and opportunities. I mean, it would be semi-irresponsible to yourself, your professionalism, your family, possibly. So if you strip emotions out of it for these coaches that are highly desirable by other programs, then you can kind of understand, man, this is a difficult spot to be in. What's not difficult, though, is actually how Will Wade answered some of the questions at a recent NCAA press conference where, honestly, it's like he's acting like the question he just received was a slap in the face.
Potential position at LSU, just wanted to see if anybody from that campus reached out to you and just give you an opportunity to speak on that.
No, is the job open there? Huh? No. So why would I'm not? Listen, let me be very clear. I'm excited at NC State. I was hired at NC State to do a job. This wasn't going to take 1 year. I've already met with our administration about next year and some of the changes that we need to make and some of the things that we need to do to put this program where it deserves long term. So I'm not on social media. I'm not into gossip. I'm not into any of that sort of stuff. But look, we're going to win, and we're going to win big at NC State. And that's what we're going to do.
12 days later, that is, he's gone. 12 days later, the athletic director at NC State, Boo Corrigan, has to get up at a press conference and try to make some type of sense of what he just even experienced.
I think I would commiserate with them in terms of feeling lied to, right? And let them know that it's not something that I didn't know anything about, and as surprised as they are by what's going on, but reassure them that we're going to find a coach that wants to be at NC State.
He feels lied to just as much as NC State fans do. And a lot of times here, as a fan, you would probably sit back and say, like, I don't know all sides of the story here. Like maybe Will Wade was very open and forthcoming. Maybe he had said long time ahead, like, hey, LSU's reaching out and I'm considering this opportunity. But no, not in this position. Boo Corrigan makes it sound like he was just as much blindsided by Wade as any of the NC State fans. So the details are that the Wolfpack and Wade agreed to a $4 million buyout with LSU yesterday. It would have dropped to $3 million at the start of April. So I guess, if anything, the Wolfpack get an extra $1 to play around with. But how did Boo Corrigan receive news that his current coach would be leaving and going to LSU? By email.
Go back to Tuesday night. We talked about everything in the program and what we can do, who we're going to play. You can't really talk. Transfer portal's not open, so you can't talk about this person or that person. We talked about last year's team and who was going to be back. Asked him what he needed, right? What do we need to be competitive? From there, as far as the resignation letter, it was an email, right, that we received from his agent.
I mean, I'm not old-fashioned. I'm not asking for like a homing pigeon to show up at Boo Corrigan's office with a resignation letter signed from Will Wade and announcing this in some kind of grandiose fashion, but a face-to-face conversation? And no, it's not that he's already in Baton Rouge either, because videos surfaced around 8 o'clock yesterday evening of Wade showing up at the airport on the tarmac in Raleigh and boarding a plane and headed off to his new destination. But this guy sends an email. Well, actually, let me take one step back and clarify. His agent sends an email for him.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, at least you owe the program a goodbye, condolences kind of thing, and you owe the head of the department a face-to-face conversation and just at least give them the respect that they deserve.
As we go to take a break, we bounced into some Sweet 16 games last night. We will be reviewing those. Christian, I'm with you. Wade drafted a little social media post that went out to NC State fans, but to act and belittle a reporter, to not actually have a face-to-face meeting with your superior, that is some crazy stuff. We're coming back next, and we want you to be involved. 336-777-1600 on the Daily Pulse.
Finding the right station for news, talk, and sports is essential. But with so many options, where do you tune in? How about a station trusted by the Triad for decades? The same station with engaging hosts and breaking news. Could that be what you're searching for? When you want the latest updates and lively discussions, join the neighbors and tune in to WSJS, the Triad's #1 source for talk radio. WSJS, where the Triad comes to talk. Visit WSJS.com.
Look at her. She's a beauty. My brand new Lincoln Navigator from Parkway Lincoln. I just stand here and look at her. I've had many SUVs in my lifetime, but this new Lincoln Navigator is something else. Modern technology that I'm still learning, but man, it's great. And the price? You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Discover the American luxury Lincoln SUV at Parkway Lincoln today. Awesome selection of SUVs, low interest rates, and maybe even bonus cash back. Parkway Lincoln of Winston-Salem.
Some things in life just don't make sense, like why we call it a hardwood floor when it makes your home feel so soft and warm. It's just not logical. But when it comes to flooring, you need things to make sense. That's where Heritage Hardwood Floor shines. They've been crafting excellence since 2005. Plus, refinishing of existing hardwood floors is their specialty. So, when you need flooring that stands the test of time, think logically. Think Heritage Hardwood Floors. Online at heritagehardwoodfloors.ws.
At Dario, it's more than a meal, it's a tradition. Inspired by the classic American hot dog stand, Dario has grown to offer a menu that pleases the whole family. The menus and faces have evolved since 1947. Their dedication to doing the right thing remains unchanged. When you visit Dario, you're not just dining, you're part of a legacy. Experience it for yourself at any Dario location across North and South Carolina and online at Dario.com. Taste the history, savor the tradition. Dario.
Hola, amigos. Winter is here and temperatures are down. But here at Pancho Villa's, our food is always sizzling hot. Come to one of our 2 locations in the Triad for the best Mexican food. We're always excited to be partners on the Truth Network, and we're glad to serve your family all year round.
Friendly service, delicious food, and a wonderful family-friendly atmosphere. Find them online at mypanchovillas.com. Vaya con Dios.
Hi, this is Todd Starnes. Join me at 12 noon for the Todd Starnes Show as we dive into the latest in politics, faith, and culture news. You'll hear from top newsmakers and have the chance to share your thoughts.
Tell me something.
Don't miss out on the conversation that matters to you. Make the Todd Starnes Show your home for insightful discussions and lively debates on News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS, and WSJS.com.
Back to the Daily Pulse with Stephen Back, where you feel the rhythm of the Triad.
We're back on the Daily Pulse on the News Talk Sports Station in the Triad here, WSJS, at Stephen Beck TO. And also at WSJS Radio. That's actually a great place for you to jump in on our Pulse Pick question of the day today, which is, do you ever go and shop at malls anymore? I feel like that is something that is out of the 90s, maybe early 2000s. Here we are in 2026 today. And that is our Pulse Pick question of the day because of this next story. Now, Christian, I'll ask you, man, are you a big mall shopper? Do you frequent those a lot?
Not as much anymore, obvious reasons as to why, but I loved growing up and going to the mall. And I still enjoy going because there's certain places, especially Haynes Mall here in Winston-Salem. Shout out to them. Their food court is fantastic still.
Well, so that's kind of the funny thing about malls, and in the foodie scene, we try to follow that as much as we can here on the Daily Pulse, and then actually also on Waking Up Prowell to show you can hear here on WSJS 9 to 11 on Saturdays. And in that scene, one of the hot things now are these, they're basically like a food hall is what they call it. I really just view that as just another food court. It's a different structure because there's not other stores in a lot of cases there. It's just for food. But honestly, does anybody really know what the difference is between a food hall and a food court?
It's like a mess hall for the Army or something like that. I don't know. That's really interesting. I've never heard that, but I just go for the food anyways. A couple of stores here and there, but mainly the food.
So if you have a thought on malls, do you go shopping at them? Are they still something around that you would frequent? 336-777-1600. Love your thoughts on our Pulse Pick question of the day. And it really hovers around this story that we're sharing now about the new wave of shoppers, a new generation, a generation that honestly has grown up online. But what they're doing is they're bringing back the shopping mall. Malls, once considered, I still probably consider this the case, seen as dying, are starting to see a little bit of increased foot traffic and stronger in-store sales. And what people following this closely, the trends of this are that it's coming from mostly Gen Z that are coming out in person more probably than was ever expected. Shoppers aging 18 to 24 make up about 62% of purchases in store, higher than older groups. I really would have viewed that as opposite. I would have said, maybe we'll say 50 to 70 age range going to a mall.
I would agree, but I'm really excited that the younger generation is finally going out, getting out from behind the screen and just going out and touching grass, as they say.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that it comes down to one factor we're going to find out about in a second. But the nostalgia for me is where I love it. Because I was somebody that, on a Friday night, I was probably, I'm just going to say 7 to 8 years old. My family's outing on that night. And this is probably really veteran move by my dad now that I'm a dad and I have daughters and I understand this whole dynamic. But the choice was to go to Four Seasons Mall in Greensboro.
Right.
Walk around in there, watch people, go into stores. And then for dinner, it was get something at the food court.
Mm-hmm.
And after the fact, of course, dessert came from Baskin Robbins, which was also located there in Four Seasons. But that was like our weekly Friday night activity. And so, yeah, like the mall was a hopping joint. I mean, movie theaters popped up in malls, the little kiosks in the middle. So now it's not just like brick and mortar retail type stores. Now you got these little pop-up tent things of people trying to vendor all the different ideas that they come up with. I mean, this was the deal. So from like the nostalgia standpoint, I'm like, whoo, that's awesome. From the dad perspective, my dad, that was a vet move. I don't know if you got kids and you're trying to come to an agreement, a general consensus of where you're going to eat, what you're going to go do. It's like pulling hair out.
Right.
Super stressful.
And like nowadays, you do have to think about the safety aspect. I get that for kids and parents and young adults and teenagers. You want everybody to be safe, but also malls, if they're starting to come back, like the Haynes Mall, for example, they have a carousel. They have that little train that's going around. It's cute.
It's like
it's fun.
What is the mall in? I think is it in Minnesota? Mall of America? Is that where that is?
I don't know if it's in Minnesota, but Mall of America.
Yeah, I mean they've got they got a whole theme park riding around in that thing. So I thought it was a vet move by him. I understand that. This is where Gen Zers are really kind of hanging their hat on getting back into malls. First off, it's a whole social experience. So they're using it as a hangout spot. Again, that was something that a lot of young teenager kids would do. They'd meet at the mall and they'd run around for a couple hours.
Right.
Social media also kind of fueling this. I think they like the backdrop. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, but it's like, I got to make my TikTok videos. They want to shoot that in front of a Foot Locker store or whatever else you're going to find in a mall. But this third thing is where I really feel like drew Gen Z back into this. It's why I would go back to a mall.
Right. And what
instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
I mean,
absolutely.
We're in a day and age right now where Amazon gets it to you in a couple of days, which is super fast. But if you're really like, I got to have that, I want it now, and a lot of us really are, then you're going to run out to the local mall or wherever you can grab it off the shelf as opposed to sitting around and waiting on it. So if you like to shop at malls, tell us why. And what are you seeing? What are the trends that you're finding out there? 336-777-1600. Now, what these Gen Zers are doing at the mall to help out this regrowth is they're spending money. And an interesting nugget dropped yesterday about our paper money here in the United States, that the Treasury Department is planning to put President Donald Trump's signature on our United States currency. It would break a 165-year tradition of what appears on our American currency. New United States paper bills would include Donald Trump's signature alongside the Treasury Secretary's signature instead of having the U.S. Treasurer with his signature on there. But it's a big deal because it ends a tradition that dates all the way back to 1861 when U.S. paper money began carrying the treasurer's signature at that time, but never a sitting president. Why are they doing this? It's tied to the 250th anniversary of the United States. Of course, we're celebrating that here this year. So if you get $100 bills, which they don't end up in my wallet very often, then if they're printed this summer, they're likely to have Donald Trump's signature on there. Coming up, we're going to reset for you to get you the updated headlines. My revisited picks also on the way from the NCAA tournament last night, and more on the Daily Pulse.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Piedmont Triad area weather. As we're heading through the afternoon time and into tonight, we have a front crossing through and a few showers and thunderstorms rumbling in with it. Ahead of the front, we're very warm. Our high today, mid-80s with an increasing southwesterly wind, clearing by very late tonight. Behind that boundary, our overnight low 40s. Sunny, breezy, and much cooler weather tomorrow, the high upper 50s. We're in the low 60s on Sunday with a good deal of sun. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore for News Talk Sports for the Triad, WSJS.
Afternoons just got better with more guests, more opinions, and more laughs. The Dan Patrick Show.
Todd, don't even act like you're thinking of a
I am. I was going to say
you're
Steve
not-
Carlton.
No, you're not. No.
Steve Carlton.
You're not involved in this.
They ain't wearing number
Why
11.
don't you read your mean tweets over there?
Clayton Kershaw.
I'm not going to try to say that.
She Shabafia. No, it's not him.
Shandy Kovac.
That guy's the worst.
The Dan Patrick Show. This afternoon at 2 on WSJS.
Life can be hectic, but Northwest Ace is here to help you tackle any project with ease. From expert advice to top-notch supplies, they've got everything you need. Why run around when you can measure twice, shop once, and get it right the first time? As your friendly neighborhood hardware store, they offer instant savings for members right in the store. Visit Northwest Ace at 3450 Robin Hood Road in Winston-Salem, online at northwesthardware.com. Northwest Ace, the helpful place.
Since 1927, Black Sand Company has been the Triad's go-to for new construction and landscaping products. They make your projects a breeze with supplies like decorative stone, playground materials, and more. From gravel and mulch to topsoil and sand, they've got it all. For residential or commercial needs, choose the best. Black Sand Company. Visit blacksandco.com or stop by 745 West Clemensville Road in Winston-Salem and discover how they bring loads of fun to your landscaping dreams.
The Daily Pulse, the sound of the Triad amplified. Your front row seat to the voices, issues, and energy driving the Triad.
Break to my waist, I don't play with the fakes.
Back to the Daily Pulse with Stephen Back.
Yeah, Daily Pulse on a Friday. Thanks for riding along with us on WSJS. Really cool prizes over at WSJS.com with our springtime of winning. And take part in our poll up at WSJS Radio. Pulse pick question of today is all around shopping habits. Do you go to the mall to shop anymore? Because Gen Zers, they're going out in droves and trying to bring that practice back. Let's get you updated with the latest news and headlines this morning. Resetting with some nation headlines that tensions in the Iran conflict still very uncertain. The United States weighing whether or not to send up to 10,000 more troops over to the Middle East. And while that's being handled abroad, there's also a government shutdown here back at home that is hitting air travel really hard. Spring break for a lot of folks next week. They'll have to keep this in mind, but a partial U.S. government shutdown is reaching a really critical point today where TSA workers have already missed a couple of paychecks and they're due to receive another one of those today. Now, President Donald Trump says he may take executive action to pay TSA agents if Congress can't actually get things figured out. Here at home, there is, of course, a lot of people talking about Will Wade, his departure to LSU, no longer being the NC State Wolfpack head coach. But also, there's a couple other stories with pressure on the new DHS secretary from our North Carolina officials saying they need to prioritize recovery funding that's still tied back to Hurricane Helene. I know a lot of people kind of forgotten that big major impact of a storm on our area, but multiple letters have been sent now by our state officials saying like, hey, we need to rebuild here and we need your federal support to do it. Last night, I was trying to follow along with the Sweet 16, and we'll kind of reselect or actually follow up on some of my reselected picks that took place in the NCAA tournament last night. And I'll update you again on what I've got going into tonight's stack of games. But also last night in more of the entertainment industry was the 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards in LA, hosted by Luda. And we want to give you kind of a quick recap of what happened. I won't lie to you, I wasn't watching, but as I went over some of these results, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good song. That's catchy. I would like to listen to that a little bit more. Major stars showed out, of course, for the event. Taylor Swift being really the main one that popped up on a lot of social media because, of course, she had her future hubby in tow, Travis Kelce, there with her. There was a little bit of nostalgia like I had earlier about shopping malls. Well, some people had that last night about Miley Cyrus because she referred back to Hannah Montana. Can you educate me, Christian? Hannah Montana, anything?
So that was a Disney show where she played an alternate ego called Hannah Montana. And as far as I know,
in the show, was she Hannah Montana or was she Miley playing Hannah? Like,
she
how does
was
this work?
Miley for
Okay.
part of the show, but also when she would go and probably do her events and stuff like that, she would don a blonde wig and turn into Hannah Montana.
Okay. I knew you were a big follower of Hannah Montana, and you can keep me posted this morning.
absolutely.
Well, so that was a big moment from last night. Here's some of the award winners, though. Artist of the Year.
Good judgment. I know I have good
So this is Sabrina Carpenter. I can picture her because I feel like that's a frequented thing for Sabrina. She's shot all over, social media and front covers of magazines with her image. Couldn't name a song if I had to.
She was also a Disney kid.
Okay.
No, sorry. Wait. She was either Disney or Nickelodeon. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me. I'm sorry.
No, that the fact that either that it could be an option surprises me. But she won Artist of the Year last night at the iHeart Music Awards. Song of the Year was by none other than Taylor Swift.
I heard you calling on the megaphone. You wanna see me all alone. As legend has it, you.
This is a hot take, Christian. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. Won't lie to you. She doesn't really do it for me. My daughters, kicking and screaming about it. It's maybe a generational thing. I don't know. My wife actually would get on board with it.
Yeah, that Eras tour was supposedly like the biggest thing. I know nothing about it, but
Well,
it was huge.
What I was going to say is The Fate of Ophelia, Song of the Year. I listened to that as we were pulling clips, and I'm like, I could jive with this, actually. It's not half bad. Now, if people would actually just like treat her like a normal person as opposed to her, being the thing at a football game that I'm trying to watch, that would kind of be nice for me. Breakthrough Artist of the Year was Alex Warren. And again, I'm kind of scratching my head on who that is until I heard this song.
Oh, I hope you know I will carry you home, whether it's tonight or 55 years down the road. Oh, I know there's so many ways this could go. Don't want you to wonder, darling, I need you to know. We were talking to the sunset, throwing dreams against the wall.
Again, I like that baller song. I've heard it many times, just never had a clue that it was Alex Warren. And again, his breakthrough artist may lead to that a little bit more. I find myself here being most surprised at Artist of the Year, Sabrina Carpenter. There were some other awards. Innovator Award went to Miley Cyrus. Icon Award, John Mellencamp. Landmark Award went to Ludacris, who was hosting last night. Some other people that showed up was Kendrick Lamar, Bad Bunny. But those were your main winners from iHeart last night. Now, while I was watching the NCAA tournament, this was also ongoing. This next thing could have probably slid under a lot of people's radars because I don't know that where this information was shared was a network at the time that people are really flooded to with all these other things competing for attention. But our president of the United States was, doing another interview often happens, especially with Donald Trump, I would agree he is probably the most accessible president that I can personally remember. And I think he feeds to that. He likes doing these type of things. Well, last night, I'm just scrolling and I find out that Donald Trump has shared some breaking news.
I love Tiger, but he won't be there. He'll be there, but he won't be playing in it.
Say what?
I love Tiger, but he won't be there. He'll be there, but he won't be playing in it.
Yeah, so he's talking about Tiger Woods. And what could you potentially guess that he's not going to be playing in?
Sounds like he's not going to be playing in the Masters to me.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what Donald Trump is saying there. And this is a little awkward because we just heard from Tiger earlier this week. He played in the TGL final that was hosted really by himself. And of course, it's a league that Rory McIlroy also has a hand in there in Florida. But at that event, he said, no, I'm trying to work back. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. Kind of alluded more to the fact that he would play. And then last night, Donald Trump is saying, no, I like Tiger. We're friends, but no, he's going to be there. He's just not going to be playing. And I know, let me help you and try to connect some of the dots here a little bit. How is Tiger feeding information to Donald, or where is really our president getting this piece and tidbit? Well, let's not forget that Tiger Woods is dating a former daughter-in-law of the president. So a little bit of insider intel potentially here.
A little apprehension there, maybe.
It's got to be an awkward conversation the next time they see one another, because I feel as if while Donald, I shared, is like out there and he likes these forward-facing interviews and sharing every little bit of whatever's happening. Tiger's not. He's grown more that direction later as he's aged, but I don't think he really likes sharing every piece of information. He kind of likes to let people wonder and keep them guessing. And so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, the latest headline of names on like the T lists for Augusta National and the Masters tournament, Tiger is still listed. As we head to our break here, coming back, I'm going to let you know already, I dominated last night on my Sweet 16 picks. We'll reshare those with you, plus what's coming up tonight. And there's somebody that was at the Olympics. She already defied a lot of odds. Is she really going to try to do this again? We'll tell you about that coming up next on the Daily Pulse on WSJS.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Sports fans, get ready for magic when Wake Forest University's Face-to-Face Speaker Forum presents conversation with basketball legend and global businessman Earvin Magic Johnson.
When I go speak, who is my role model? And Dad, I always say it's you. You taught me that anything in life I was going to achieve and get, I had to work for it.
September 16th at 7:30 p.m. at the LJVM Coliseum. The conversation will be moderated by CBS Sports journalist Tracy Wolfson. Get your tickets now at facetoface.wfu.edu.
In a world filled with uncertainty, one thing remains constant. Triad Baptist Christian Academy in Kernersville. Students flourish academically, spiritually, and personally. It's a partnership with families, nurturing hearts and minds since 2005. From preschool to high school, they prepare for futures with a biblical worldview, discovering their God-given potential. Triad Baptist Christian Academy, shaping lives for God's glory. Learn more at tbcnow.org.
Transform your home with elegance and durability. At Heritage Hardwood Floors, they offer exquisite flooring options that complement any season. Plus, refinishing of existing hardwood floors is their specialty. With Jesse's craftsmanship, Catherine's business savvy, your dream floors are a step away. Their expertise is matched only by their passion for quality. Elevate your space with Heritage Hardwood Floors. Online at heritagehardwoodfloors.ws. Heritage Hardwood Floors. When it comes to flooring, they have no ceiling.
Are you a CEO? I'll see you on Sunday.
This is True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author and host of Truth Talk Live.
There are a lot of CEOs attending church on Easter week, Holy Week, Palm Sunday, Easter Sunday. What is CEO? A CEO is a Christmas, Easter only church attender. Hey, that's okay. The doors are open. The church is going to be full. Why? Because the tomb is empty. That's right. Jesus Christ, who rose from the dead, he emptied that tomb so our lives don't have to be, and so that people would come and find out what is all this about. And guess what? It might just stick. It stuck with those disciples, and they turned the world upside down, and here we are today. Go to a church that loves Jesus, that believes in the resurrection, that has the power of God in it, that teaches the word of God, and watch what God does, even if you're a CEO.
Join Stu on radio, social media, and his daily Truth Talk Live podcast. Learn more at truthnetwork.com.
The Daily Pulse with Stephen Back, covering what matters most across the triad with voices you trust and stories that resonate.
It's Beck and Christian Snyder back here on WSJS, the Daily Pulse, right here, 9 to 10, Monday through Friday. And actually, don't get too sad on me here because it's Friday. You can also hear me again tomorrow, 9 to 11, with Waking Up Raould here on WSJS and WSJS.com. I was last night trying to not only plan for what we were going to have in store for you today, but I was also following along with our picks that we had made in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament that got back into gear last night. And I'm going to tell you right now, Christian, let me flex on you just a little bit, brother.
How'd you do?
I dominated last night.
Good job.
Straight up picks, too. Like, this is not trying to play underdogs and get points and all this other kind of stuff. I just went straight up. So let's go back through.
I'm ready.
First game that played last night, and let me just say real quick, whoever sets these game times,
slap in the face.
Yeah, what are you really trying to accomplish, and what are you really thinking? Because they're not staggered enough, and they're also just like, again, they could just be placed a lot better, but that doesn't matter. I still won last night with this selection where I took Iowa to beat Nebraska, and they did that 77-71. The Hawkeyes advance with Ben McCollum there leading them, and Nebraska winning in the NCAA tournament for the first time this year in an impressive fashion with a couple of games before they lost last night. The next game that I picked correctly, I might add, Purdue over Texas, 79-77 last night, where the Longhorns had a really tough road. Surprised a lot of people with how well they played, and then that 2-point loss last night. It was close. In the late night action, where you have a tip time of 10:05 and a tip time of 10:06, one of these I stumbled on. Illinois did beat Houston 65-55. The Illini, by the way, have the tallest team in the NCAA tournament, and I should have known better. They've got a lot of Serbian dudes that can shoot the ball. So I'm impressed. We'll see how they fare now as they move to the Elite Eight. But I did get this game right. Arizona beat Arkansas 109-88. So that's me going 3-1 last night. Now, for tonight's games, just to recap a little bit, in case you missed that yesterday, Duke is playing St. John's, and I'm taking the Blue Devils. Caleb Foster did practice yesterday, by the way. He rolled in on his little rolly cart right beside a Pat Gongba. They parked him, and then they got off of him, and they went through with practices, so that's going to help the Blue Devils. I'm taking Michigan to beat Alabama. That team, I really feel like they will end up being in the finals potentially. UConn is going to beat Michigan State. And then I'll take Iowa State to beat Tennessee. So those are my 4 picks. If I go, with one loss the whole way, then you bound to bet that on Monday I'll probably be pumping up my chest again for you. The Olympics seem like they were years ago at this point, but really, what was that, last month, right? Yeah. So it's like, man, what do you remember from the Olympics about Lindsey Vonn?
That name is familiar, but what do I know? I don't know.
So Lindsey Vonn is a downhill skier. I should have pulled this. I can't recall exactly how many Olympic Games she's actually been an athlete in, but I want to say that it's probably 3 or 4 at least at this point. We talked about Tiger Woods earlier. Formerly, she was dating him. That was one of the blondes that was on his list of people. So Lindsey, though, in the Olympics crashed, and in the crash ended up having to go to a hospital there in Italy before she was transported eventually back to the States for a career-threatening injury to her leg. All of this happened after she had preemptively, before the Olympics, also come up with a knee injury. So, like, the big thing was practices for the Olympics, she injures her knee, tears a lot of tendons. It's an injury that's almost impossible to actually be an athlete and work around, but she put a brace on and she did it. She's like, I'm not giving up hope. I think she's in her 40s. Like, time is ticking out on her career here to do this. And I admired that. I did. I was kind of like, yeah, pride for self and country, get out there, do whatever it takes, leave it all out on the slopes in this case, and see what happens. And that's when she was competing, just her second turn downhill run, she breaks her leg. Tibia, fibula, ankle, all shattered. Airlifted off the slopes, taken to a hospital, and doctors at the time feared that she could even potentially lose her leg. Like, now we're talking whole different type of injury here. It's not just something that you have to come back from with physical therapy and you may be able to compete again. Now we're saying, like, are you going to lose a limb?
It's terrifying.
Lindsey Vonn came out yesterday and she said, even after all these devastating crashes, nearly costing her leg, she's not closing the door on her career of skiing again.
Good for her on her determination, but also you have to think of life preservation too. She's won plenty of medals, so she's good.
It's good for her. Yeah, no, I mean, just, I guess, don't lose a leg and you'll be able to just keep hitting it back out there, Lindsey. Our time is up for the week on the Daily Pulse. You can hear me again tomorrow on Waking Up Prowl, 9 to 11. But, of course, stay with us all throughout the rest of your day here on WSJS and WSJS.com.
You've always been curious. Over time, you've wondered about the best new